Hello everyone. So yesterday we talked about the carbon cycle and briefly about soil. Today we're going to go on about soil and talk a bit about microorganisms as well. So an important part of a soil's makeup that contributes to decomposition and nutrient fixing is the involvement of microorganisms. Just like larger organisms, microorganisms are small biotic components to ecosystems. They rely on abiotic components for their survival and require energy to live and function, just like us and animals and plants. However, they are very microscopic. Microscopic means that they are too small to see with the naked eye and you need a microscope. Although biotic like us, their food sources and interactions can be drastically different from ours. Microorganisms can be photosynthetic. They can create their own energy from photosynthesis just like plants. They can also create their energy through other means, such as converting nitrogen or breaking down sugars, similar to us. Microorganisms play a huge part in the health of an ecosystem. They come in all shapes and sizes and are organized into multiple different groups, each with different functions. A few examples of these common groups that we're going to talk about today are bacteria, fungi, algae, viruses, and protozoa. So first off, bacteria. Bacteria are single-celled and are often decomposers. They work to break down organic matter into smaller parts. They can consume and break down molecules that other organisms cannot, so they are essential in providing things such as nitrogen for plants to use. Nitrogen is an important nutrient that plants need to grow. However, it is most commonly found as a gas in the atmosphere, symbolized by the N2, nitrogen gas. Nitrogen-fixing bacteria can convert this nitrogen gas into a nutrient form that is usable to plants, ammonia, NH3. So, oftentimes, you'll hear that farmers put ammonia on their fields. They're actually pumping this straight, fixed, or altered nitrogen gas into their fields to help the plants grow. Fungi, next up, are not plants nor animals, but they are similarly a microorganism. Mushrooms are a great example of fungi, and they would be a lot of little fungal cells living together and forming one big piece. Fungi are linked to one another using long stringy tubes called hyphae, which are similar to like a plant's roots or our blood cells. So fungi can be a bit of a mixed bag. Some are very beneficial to plants and animals, and they break down organic matter, they help things rot, etc. However, some fungi can also be parasitic, which they'll attach themselves to other plants or animals, and they'll steal the nutrients and suck them out from selfish reasons to keep themselves alive, but hurt their host. Algae is next, and algae is often photosynthetic. So, like plants, it is able to create sugar using sunlight and carbon dioxide. Algae is very important in areas or in soil for soil water retention, so keeping water within the soil, as well as when they die, they return organic material back to the soil. So they help with soil health in that way. So next up we have viruses. Viruses come in many different shapes and sizes. Some can cause sickness in people, similar to the one that's going around right now, and others can be very helpful to health of soil. Viruses are very good at spreading DNA to different organisms. So when a virus goes through the system, it'll latch onto a cell and it kind of explodes into it and provides its DNA, making that cell able to reproduce that virus. However, sometimes this DNA can actually be helpful and it can give traits to things that may not originally have it. Some bacteria, some algae and other forms of microorganisms actually become photosynthetic because a virus accidentally or intentionally gives them traits that it may not have before. Or it can be very other traits for different reasons. Mutations can happen for lots of things. But viruses can come in and be helpful and help organisms by giving them maybe an adaptation that they need to survive, or they can also be harmful and cause sickness or death or take over an organism. Protozoa is next. Protozoa are very old and ancient, and they're often single-celled as well. Protozoa consume excess bacteria in the soil, and this can help them keep a balance so that there's not too much of a bacteria coming up in the soil. Some protozoa can be unhelpful for humans and create disease and cause sickness as well. Soil that contains a wide variety of all these microorganisms tends to be healthier and more sustainable for growth than soil that is lacking microorganisms. Typically, soil around ponds or in forests or in nutrient-rich areas have millions of these microorganisms and are able to sustain all the life in the entire ecosystem, and they're a bit of that baseline. So that's a little bit about soil and microorganisms. Later today, we're going to come up with a video about baking. We're going to talk specifically a bit about one microorganism that's actually a fungi and what it has to do. So thank you for watching this, and let me know if you have any questions.